Hello guys, welcome back. So USA Today released its ranking of the top 10 greatest point guards in WNBA history, and you already know we have to react to it. Some of these placements make a lot of sense. A couple of them are debatable, and then there are a few where I'm sitting here wondering, what the hell were they thinking? Rankings like these always spark arguments because you're trying to compare completely different eras, different competition levels, different league sizes, and different roles. But that's what makes these lists fun. So let's go through the entire top 10 and break it down. Starting at number 10, they have Dawn Staley. Now, I respect Dawn Staley tremendously. She's one of the greatest basketball minds we've ever seen, and what she's accomplished as a coach is unbelievable. As a player, though, I don't know if I have her cracking my personal top 10 point guards of all time. Was she a great player? Absolutely. Was she one of the pioneers who helped build the league? Without question. But if we're talking strictly about playing careers, I think she's become a little overrated because so many people naturally connect her coaching legacy with her playing legacy. That's not to say she doesn't deserve recognition, she absolutely does, but number 10 feels like the highest I'd be willing to put her. Coming in at number 9 is Skyler Diggins. This one I actually don't have much of a problem with. Skyler Diggins has been one of the most talented guards the WNBA has ever seen. She could score from anywhere, create for teammates, defend at a high level, and control the pace of a game. Unfortunately, she never captured a championship, and that will always be the biggest knock on her resume. During much of her prime, the league only had around 10 teams, meaning every roster was stacked with elite talent. Winning championships wasn't easy then either. Fast forward to today, the league is expanding rapidly, and with 20 teams expected in the near future, the landscape is completely changing. Championships are becoming harder to win because talent is spreading across the league. Even now, Skyler Diggins remains one of the better guards in basketball. Last season, she averaged around 16 points and over 5 assists per game. Right now, she's on paid sabbatical from the Chicago Sky, and by the looks of things, she's simply refused to return. Regardless of how that situation ends, her body of work speaks for itself. Number 9 feels fair. At number 8, they have Becky Hammon. Honestly, I don't mind this placement either. Becky Hammon was one of the most consistent point guards of her generation. She never played for Team USA and instead represented Russia internationally, which always made her career a little unique. She was an elite scorer, a fantastic decision maker, and someone who consistently elevated the teams she played on. Point guard has historically been one of the thinner positions in WNBA history compared to centers and forwards, so putting Hammon at number 8 doesn't bother me at all. Now we arrive at number 7, and this is where things get really interesting. Caitlin Clark. Believe it or not, I'm actually okay with this ranking. I know some people are already screaming that she's too high because she's only played about 2.5 seasons. Others think she's already number 1. Personally, 7 feels like a reasonable balance. If we're judging pure peak basketball ability, I honestly think Caitlin Clark has already shown the highest offensive ceiling we've ever seen from a point guard. The scoring, the passing, the range, the pace she plays with, the ability to completely change defenses before she even crosses half court. It's ridiculous. Now, career accomplishments still matter. Chelsea Gray had one of the greatest playoff performances ever during that championship run, where she basically couldn't miss a shot. Sue Bird owns records that have stood for decades. Those accomplishments deserve respect. But if Caitlin Clark continues on this trajectory, she's going to destroy virtually every statistical record a point guard has. She's also doing it in what is arguably the deepest era in league history. She's competing against stars like A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Sabrina Ionescu, and so many others. She's probably never going to finish with as many championships as Lauren Jackson, Sue Bird, or Chelsea Gray because today's league is simply more competitive than it used to be. That doesn't necessarily make her any worse as a player. Peak for peak, she might already be the most talented point guard we've ever watched. Number 6 is Teresa Weatherspoon. This is where I start disagreeing. Teresa Weatherspoon was phenomenal at her peak. She played with unbelievable intensity, defended at an elite level, and became one of the faces of the early WNBA. But longevity matters, championships matter, overall statistical production matters. She didn't play for an especially long time, and she never won a title. That's not entirely her fault, but it still affects historical rankings. Personally, I'd have players like Caitlin Clark already ahead of her. Honestly, I'd even consider Candace Parker ahead of her if we're talking total basketball impact, despite spending significant time playing forward. Teresa deserves enormous respect, but 6 feels just a little too high for me. At number 5, they have Ticha Penicheiro. This one surprised me. Nobody questions her passing ability. Ticha Penicheiro might be one of the flashiest passers the WNBA has ever seen. Some of her highlight reels are absolutely insane. No-look passes, behind-the-back assists, incredible court vision. She made difficult plays look effortless. But here's where I struggle. She averaged just over 6 points per game for her career. That's incredibly difficult for me to overlook when ranking someone as the 5th greatest point guard ever. Passing is obviously the primary responsibility of a point guard, but scoring still matters. You have to threaten defenses. Comparing her to someone like Skyler Diggins, who could give you 20-plus points on any night while also creating offense, I think there's a pretty significant gap offensively. If it were my list, I'd probably have Clark or Diggins sitting here instead. Now we reach the top 4. At number 4 is Lindsay Whalen. This one I completely understand. Lindsay Whalen was the engine of those Minnesota Lynx dynasty teams. She was the quarterback, the organizer, the leader who kept everything running smoothly. 4 championships, 6 finals appearances in 7 years. They honestly could have won even more. People sometimes overlook just how important she was because Sylvia Fowles, Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, and Rebecca Brunson received so much attention. But every great dynasty needs someone controlling the offense, and that was Lindsay Whalen. She's now coaching, and honestly, I'm still surprised another WNBA team hasn't hired her as a head coach. Former elite point guards often transition exceptionally well into coaching because they essentially function as coaches while playing. Number 4 feels exactly right. Coming in at number 3 is Courtney Vandersloot. I really can't argue much here. Courtney Vandersloot is arguably the greatest pure passer the WNBA has ever produced. Her assist records are unbelievable. She orchestrated one of the best offenses we've ever seen during Chicago's championship season. During that playoff run, she averaged over 12 assists per game, which is almost impossible to comprehend. She's also the only player to average double-digit assists over an entire season, although it came during a much shorter schedule. Caitlin Clark has since produced incredible assist numbers over a full-length season, which makes that comparison fascinating. Even after suffering an ACL injury, Vandersloot has shown she can still impact winning basketball. The Skies simply look more organized when she's on the floor. Number 3 feels justified. Number 2 is Chelsea Gray. Again, I really don't have many complaints. Chelsea Gray is one of the greatest shot makers basketball has ever seen. Forget point guards. I'm talking basketball players, period. Her playoff performances were legendary. Every big shot seemed automatic. Every clutch possession somehow ended with Chelsea Gray hitting another impossible jumper. She's won 4 championships, and that's incredibly difficult to ignore. Now, she isn't quite the same athlete anymore. She doesn't move as well as she once did and doesn't consistently play the traditional point guard role. That's just the reality of getting older. But when discussing careers rather than current ability, Chelsea Gray absolutely belongs near the top. And finally, number 1, Sue Bird. Honestly, I expected this. The all-time assist leader, 4-time champion, multiple All-WNBA selections, 13 All-Star appearances, longevity that almost nobody in professional sports can match. Sue Bird spent 2 decades controlling games with intelligence rather than overwhelming athleticism. She understood pace better than almost anyone. She rarely forced bad decisions and consistently made teammates better. Even if someone eventually breaks all her records, it's impossible to ignore everything she accomplished throughout her incredible career. Looking toward the future, though, I think this list is going to change dramatically. Paige Bueckers is going to have something to say about these rankings before her career is over. She's naturally more of a scoring guard than a traditional facilitator, but she's shown she can handle point guard responsibilities when needed. It'll be interesting to see whether history ultimately classifies her as a point guard or more of a shooting guard. And then there's Caitlin Clark. If she stays healthy, I honestly believe we're watching someone who could finish as the greatest point guard the WNBA has ever seen. She's rewriting expectations almost every single night, and she's doing it against stronger competition than many legends faced during their primes. Within another 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if Clark is sitting inside the top 3 all-time. By the time her career is finished, she could very realistically be number 1. That's what makes these rankings so much fun. They're never final because history keeps being written. So that's my reaction to USA Today's Top 10 Greatest WNBA Point Guards list. Do you agree with the rankings? Who did they rank too high? Who got completely disrespected? And where would you place Caitlin Clark right now? Drop your thoughts down in the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.